So in this section, we're going to look at shooting sequences. Now, rather than just shooting a sequence for the sake of shooting a sequence, generally what happens is we're shooting sequences to cover action or activity, to cover, say, an interview. So we've come down here to Balmoral Beach in Mosman in Sydney, and we're going to do an interview with a fisherman. And what I want to do is, first of all, do the setup interview. Now, Mike has only got about 20 minutes, so we'll have to do this very, very quickly. So what I want you to pay attention to is the order in which I do things and how I prioritize what I'm shooting. There are so many things you can shoot here. We've got a fantastic location with lots going on. And the danger is that you can get completely overwhelmed by everything you could shoot. But what we're going to do is an interview with a fisherman, why he enjoys fishing, and that's basically the story. So what we'll do is we'll do the interview, get a bit of background information, and then we'll shoot only what we need to cover the story that's been covered in the interview. It's a really valuable lesson, this, is to not go crazy and try and cover everything and try and give yourself too many options. So let's go and meet Mike and set up the interview. Oh, look at this, that's well timed. Oh. Hey Mike, how are you?
Dennis, nearly had something then.
Nearly.
Something.
So listen, thanks for giving us your time this morning. We just want to do a quick interview with you.
Yeah.
And then shoot some B-roll because I know you need to get off to work.
Sounds good.
Cool. So listen, I'll just I'll give you a second. I'll just look for a shot and
Okay.
I'll call you over.
No bother.
I think what we'll do, folks, is one of the things we've got to do, because we're short of time, is I'm not going to mic up. I'm actually going to use the camera mic. Having a good quality gun mic on the camera means if you get the camera close enough, and we're in an environment where it's very quiet, that sound is more than good enough to create what we need. So what I'm thinking is, the sun's behind over there. If I stand our talent in full sun, he's going to be squinting. So if I get him so he's kind of, with the sun 3/4, we'll end up with a decent looking shot. So first of all, I'm going to lift the legs up nice and high, because Mike's a tall guy. Level off my tripod. And let's start the camera up here so you can see what I'm doing. So that's the kind of frame I'm going for. One of the slight downsides of the C100 is if you get the camera up too high, you can't actually see in the Z finder properly. So that's a shot that I'm thinking might work. And hey Mike, can I borrow you for a second to get this shot framed up?
I'm not catching anything.
Oh right, okay, you're not catching anything, are you?
I've had a bite.
Oh well. They're nibbling on the prawns but not actually biting on the hook. So mate, if you just step in here, I'm going to stick you about here. Just give me a second, I'll frame up the shot. Now I'm going to get this camera in a bit closer. Punch in and check my focus. So what I'm shooting here is at f4 to give myself a bit of depth of field to play with. Need to be careful not to step off this side, which is something I will probably do. Just check my exposure. Using the Vari ND on the front again to give me some fine adjustment. And notice how I'm framing the interview quite loose, because I'm not going to be looking through the viewfinder while we do this. So if Mike moves around at all, it's okay, we can crop in post. Now, because I'm using the onboard mic, I'm just going to check my levels with my headphones because I can hear a plane in the background. And what we don't want to do is have that in the middle of a take. It's okay if we're recording and then a plane comes into play and then leaves again, but ideally you want a clear run at the audio. Okay, so camera's rolling. I'm now going to just ask Mike 3 or 4 questions so that we can give some nice audio that we can cut together and tell the story. Just move this framing slightly. My questions aren't going to be used, Michael.
Okay.
So if you can try and answer the answer with my question.
Sure.
involved,
Okay.
That's great.
Give it a go.
That's fantastic. Just double check my levels here. Great. So tell me why you like fishing down here at Balmoral.
I think I like fishing down here at Balmoral because it's place you can come to really switch off, I suppose. If you've had a busy week, busy at work, whatever you do, you come down here and instantly relax, set up your rig, cast out, just look at the ocean. If you catch something, it's brilliant. If you don't, it doesn't really matter. You can just enjoy where you are and have a good day.
And what kind of fish do you catch down here?
I catch a number of different fish. There's a lot of brim here, which is kind of small silvery fish. Catch a lot of them. I do a lot of that when I come down with the kids, because to be honest, there's so many of these little fish here, and all my kids want to see is daddy or them catching something. So we'll use prawns as bait, catch quite a lot of brim. I think we probably chuck back about 95%, but I'm quite happy with that. I'm not that bothered about bringing home a meal to put on the table. If we can, it's perfect. But if we don't, it doesn't matter.
So what's the biggest fish you've caught down here, and what was it?
It's a slightly embarrassing question, Dennis. I think the biggest fish I've caught here is probably about 40 centimetre bonito, which is a predatory fish. And what's great about those fish is you'll be walking down the boardwalk and you actually see them jumping out of the water. So then you think, oh, brilliant, I'm not going to bother with the prawns today. Put a lure on, cast that out, bring it in as quickly as you can, and you can actually see the bonito jumping out of the water, kind of darting after it. And if you're bringing those kind of fish, that's probably the most fun kind of fishing you can do down here.
Great stuff. So I've got a number of answers there, and I was always listening, and Mike was great because he was talking about the bait he was using, the kind of fish he catches. So that will give us some narrative to then shoot the B-roll. So thanks for that, mate. I'll let you get back to fishing and we'll shoot some B-roll around you.
Pleasure, Dennis. Thank you.